Welcome to this series of interviews with the giants of cardiac surgery for CTSnet. My name's Joel Dunning and I'm here with Michael Mack. Thank you very much for coming, and it's absolutely fantastic to have you here. And not only have you worked for 28 years or more in Dallas, but you've also got visiting professorships around the world. But for me, the thing that's really been changing the face of surgery has been your involvement in the Syntax trial and the real changes that's had in practice. What we'd like to do in this interview is talk about bypass grafting and really find out exactly how you do your operations. So let's imagine we've got a patient, he's 68 years old, good LV, triple vessel disease, he's in the OR right now. I'm going to do this operation, but we're just talking through how you like to do your operation. So if we start from the beginning, perhaps how do you like to see a good stenotomy?
Well, maybe I'd like to start even before that, if that's okay with you.
Absolutely.
So my preference is to do procedures off pump. I mean, that's my default operation. And to do them off pump, the first key is to have a good anesthesiologist. Somebody that's engaged, somebody who understands that how the hemodynamics are different off pump versus on pump. Somebody that's engaged, somebody that's not going to fight me the whole time because they want to be out drinking coffee while we're on pump. So that's the first part of it. And then once all the players are in place, including a good assistant who has experience doing off-pump surgery before, then we can proceed to the sternotomy.
Do you like PA catheters, TOE?
So yes, both, all of the above. It is routine for us to use Swan-Ganz catheters, and it's routine for us to use transesophageal echo. If I had to choose one versus the other, it would be transesophageal echo. But I'm one of those people that believe, how can you be hurt by more information?
Absolutely. And so we're moving into the operation, and we're starting off. How do you like me to start off?
All right, so I like to start off with a small skin incision. And for off-pump surgery, I do a full sternotomy, but I try to keep the incision as small as possible, especially on the top side. I like to keep it, especially in women, down below the neckline. So we may end up with a very small skin incision, but a full sternotomy.
And you don't find that impairs access at all, really?
It's like anything else. Anytime you do any limited access surgery, you can't get your elbows moving around as good as you can, like in open surgery, but you learn to accommodate for it, and you can do exactly the same thing. So, I've been doing off-pump surgery for 15 years now, and so I'm pretty comfortable no matter how small the incision is.
And can I use lots of bone wax, diathermy, the periosteum?
Yeah, absolutely. So
keep it dry.
Yep, keep it dry.
Yeah. So how do you like to see the mammary taken down? I know there are various techniques.
So we routinely use bilateral internal mammary arteries, and we routinely skeletonize those. There's a lot of concern earlier on about infection, especially in diabetics, especially in obese diabetics with bilateral internal mammary arteries, and I must admit that has totally gone away, and obesity and diabetes is no longer a barrier to me using bilateral internal mammary arteries, but I think the key to that is skeletonization.
Okay, and old age, no barrier either? 87-year-olds, 90?
No, not an issue at all.
If you had to take vein, how would you take that these days, open or endoscopic?
So we do everything endoscopic. I think this is a genie that's out of the bottle and not going back in. The patient satisfaction from not having incisions on the leg, large incisions, is huge. I think the key to it, because of all the concerns that have been raised, is to exercise best practices. And by best practices, I mean lower leg vein rather than thigh vein, pre-heparinization, using pressure pop-off syringes, and being very careful, and as a surgeon, not putting pressure on the assistant that's harvesting the vein to get that vein out and do it in the least traumatic manner possible.
And you're not concerned by the partner trial and the Ruby trial recent results?
Well, the part, I'm an author on the partner trial thing, so yeah, I'm well aware of it, and I think that when we back and looked at it, it's not the fact that it's endoscopic or open, it's how the endoscopic technique is executed.
Okay. And so we've taken our conduit, we're going to use bilateral memories, and do you put any SNP on the skeletonized memories? or you just take them? You don't.
SMP is
Nitroprusside or papaverine?
Oh, yes, we do use papaverine routinely. So what I do is put a papaverine sponge on the outside, but I also inject papaverine directly into the lumen of the artery, and then put a bulldog clip on the end of the artery, so that you have the vasodilatory substance within the artery, on the outside of the artery, and you have the pressure of the blood pressure beating against the end of the artery, and that inevitably dilates up the artery and gets rid of the spasm associated with harvesting.
Okay. From my limited experience, one of the most important things in off-pump surgery is how you set up the case and how you mobilize the pericardium to get really good access. How do you get the best access?
So that's absolutely correct. It's one of those things that's key to it. It's like exposing a mitral valve. You can do a mitral valve operation if you've got good exposure. It's all how you get the exposure. It's the same thing with off-pump surgery. So you open the pericardium fully in the midline, obviously. But the keys are two. One is you open it widely inferior, both to the left and especially to the right. And then there's 3 stay sutures placed on each edge of the pericardium, and those stay sutures go into the retractor on each side. The key is when you're performing revascularization on the left side of the heart, that you slacken the pericardium on the right side of the heart so that there's room for the right ventricle. Similarly, when you're bypassing the right side of the heart, you take the left stay sutures down so the pericardium is slack on the left side to create room for the heart on the left side as you retract it from right to left. The whole key to this operation and the hemodynamics of the operation is giving room to the right ventricle